What is a waifu? Waifu is a loan word to the Japanese language from the English word wife, meaning a woman who is married, which comes to us from the Germanic lineage of Old English. Japanese is a syllabary-based language, meaning their words are constructed primarily of syllables instead of letters. Despite many words in the language dropping or swallowing the vowels of these syllables, loan words tend to retain them, hence why the word waifu adds the u sound at the end of the word. The word is sometimes used in otaku culture to refer to a fictional woman as wife material, just saying waifu as a short form, although the Japanese word for wife, yome, is used more often. This usage of the word became common parlance in American otaku circles by way of the 2002 anime Azumanga Daioh.
My waifu.
Essentially turning the loan word into a double loan word with the u added on. And it's actually become more popular here than it ever was in Japan. As Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an otaku space, a lot of people have come to refer to decks that primarily feature women as waifu decks. And I fucking hate it! It's objectifying, misogynistic, and it's being used to stigmatize any women-centered decks, and I'm gonna tell you why. The terminology of waifu decks, waifu cards, and the waifu tax, a theory that cards depicting women will be more expensive on average than cards that don't, alongside language that speaks to similar ideas like gooner cards or goon slop, appear throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's community.
CGB, buddy! It is finally time. After 10,000 years, we're doing the waifu video. Are you excited to see some of Yu-Gi-Oh's waifus?
No, we're not. No, we're not. Don't do this to me.
The artwork on the cards these days are so much more like anime. Like you get a lot more like kind of like cool anime fighting robots, anime protagonists, like, you know, waifu cards or whatever you want to call them.
That said, I definitely could see Konami reprinting the entire Exosister theme or trying to give them some support in the near future, maybe even giving them some alternate arts, just because they are a waifu deck and they're going to be pretty popular with a lot of the player base.
I think that this is just like the ability to pop and pop off and certain decks or get the free resources to bring it out. It makes sense with its giant 3,000 body, and then it also has a bit of a waifu tax to go with it.
Name the deck, literally just a girl. Arg, pure goon slop.
I mean, okay, this is look. I'm sorry. A lot of the decks with women on the cards are goon slop. I'm sorry.
I think it can.
They
depend,
are kind of goon
but
slop.
yeah, I think some are like yeah, this is like sexy women, obviously. But
yeah, like have you seen K9 Ripper? Like, I'm sorry,
she's hot as fuck.
Be that way, but that is goon slop. You know, look.
This shit sucks. Women seemingly cannot exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Without being seen through the gaze of men. Men's desire for women is seen as what determines their value. We love Dark Magician Girl, not because she's an iconic character in the anime, but because she's a sex object. Dragontail Phimena is expensive, not because she's an extremely powerful card and a very fun archetype that only looks to get better, but because she's a sex object. K9 Ripper is goon slop because she's a sex object. Yu-Gi-Oh! Women can be as chastely dressed as you want, and unless they're just some uggo, they will only ever be viewed as a sex object on a subconscious level by men. And even those that are discarded are still being viewed through the lens of their attractiveness to men. Now, right off the top here, I'm going to say that the usage of this sexist language does not inherently make the user a misogynist. Most of these guys aren't thinking about the way their language dehumanizes women, and in fact, I think a lot of them are thinking of their usage as a feminist act in and of itself. In an extremely basic Feminism 101 kind of way, these men, and they usually are men, are seeing Konami selling randomized cardboard by way of drawings of attractive women, and are making the connection that Konami is relying on women's appeal as sexual beings to sell product, which seems pretty sexist on its face. They feel a need to call this out, and they land on using a derogatory term drawn from the more sexist part of otaku culture. Thus, they call them waifu cards, not because they see the cards as their waifus, but because they see the target audience for the card as the type of person who would only see these cards as sex objects. Feminism win! Misogyny is defeated by your epic own. But hey, can you join me for a sec over here in Feminism 201 and think about what other reasons Konami might have for printing cards with women on them? After all, Konami also prints cool dragons, ferocious dinosaurs, big, strong men, pretty little twinks, and cute little guys. They're not printing all those cards because dudes want to fuck them. That's only the twinks and the big, strong men. They're printing these cards because they are things people like. Everyone loves dinosaurs, dragons, trains, and plushies. Men love to play big, strong men. It's a power fantasy, as you probably learned while you were in Feminism 101 class over there. Nobody goes around calling X-Saber a husbando deck, though, or a power fantasy deck. Macho slop? See, now that we are in Feminism 201, I want you to consider if perhaps there is a group that could see a confident, attractive lady and think the same thing that men see in a big, strong man. That's right, women. Konami doesn't make female cards exclusively for the male gaze. There are women who play this game too, and they like women. Like, not even in a lesbian way, although that's also a factor, just likely not a major one to Konami. Just like men, women like to play as idealized women. Women like to be hot, women like to be powerful, and attractiveness is associated with power in our society. You see, Konami is not exploiting sex appeal to sell their cardboard gambling. They are exploiting everything to sell it. That is the nature of capitalism. Companies will attack all of your senses to get you to buy and will target as many audiences as possible. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh cards are actually surprisingly chaste, especially after the normally very light censorship on the TCG side of things. You can't get parents on board with buying a card game that has swimsuit rares for their children, and children are the primary audience Konami targets. Women in Yu-Gi-Oh are made to be attractive or cute on purpose to sell cards. Men in Yu-Gi-Oh are made to be attractive or cute on purpose to sell cards. This is undeniable, but it's because people generally are attracted to characters that are attractive. Now, are those female cards actually all that sexy though? Like, let's take a look at Canine Ripper as an example, since Peeps and Dandy brought it up. What is actually goon slop about this? Canine Ripper is a conventionally attractive anime woman with animal ears and a tail and a bit of cleavage and an armpit. You can see this exact level of goon slop at your average anime convention. It turns out women have cleavage. Shocking, I know. Women also like to wear animal ears, and not always for the pleasure of men. I've met them before, it's true. And the armpit. As much as the TCG likes to censor them, women do actually have armpits. I don't know how else to explain this. Women just have armpits, and a lot of the overly designed clothes that Yu-Gi-Oh artists like to draw reveal them. Is it gooner to have armpits? Then we're all gooner. Let they who has not armpits cast the first goon. But like, seriously, are we saying it's gooner to be a pretty woman with armpits and cleavage? Are you coming in your pants when you see an attractive woman in a sundress? Going to the gymnastics competition and calling every woman competing their gooner slop? Am I gooner slop right here on the camera right now? And also, before we get too far away from it, swimsuits are also a normal thing that women wear sometimes. This doesn't take away that the swimsuit rare in Cardfight Vanguard is absolutely using female sex appeal to sell cards, but more so indicates that maybe that's not actually that big a deal. See, there are essentially two issues here. There are people who see an attractive or even just cute woman on a piece of cardboard and go, "That's my waifu." Regardless of any other factors, that reductive language is kinda gross. You should be able to like a woman, even a fictional one, without treating her like an object, because the language we use shapes our behavior. I don't even necessarily mind a guy or gal pointing to a Yu-Gi-Oh card and going, "That's my wife." A wife is not inherently objectifying. Plenty of people of all genders have wives and don't think of them as objects. It may be possessive, but that's not necessarily an issue. We all like to relate to people and things by our relationship to them. It's specifically waifu culture in otaku spaces that has this objectifying connotation. Most people don't build a shrine to their actual real-life wife, and typically we see that kind of behavior as a bit of a red flag. And then on the other side, there's a group of people that seem to rightly oppose that objectification, and then take it out on the cards and everyone who likes them, instead of the actual guys objectifying them, or even better, the culture that makes them think that objectification is okay. Is Sky Striker a waifu deck, or is the guy who calls Ray his waifu at your locals just a creep whose creepiness is informed by the society around him? And Sky Striker is one of the #1 examples of a waifu deck in the community. Perhaps exactly what came to your mind when I said the term. But let's actually look at the cards. Rei is in a very neutral position, wearing essentially a school uniform. Beyond the fetishization of the school uniform, which is a whole other topic we don't have time to get into, just play Silent Hill F instead. What about Rei makes her the prototypical waifu deck? It's that she's a cute girl. That's it. She doesn't show any more skin than the average 14-year-old girl, which is her canon age, by the way. She doesn't do any indecent poses. She's just a cute girl. And for that crime, she became defined by men finding her attractive. She even has more characterization than perhaps any other card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks to the manga and various animated projects, which kinda makes her as far from objectified as is possible in Yu-Gi-Oh! So like, to an extent, I prefer the people who call Rei or any other female card their waifu or what have you to the people who call them a waifu card or gooner slump. At least the former seem to actually be okay with the card game having women in it. Although, that seem is carrying a lot of weight. Put a pin in that. In a patriarchal society, women are not allowed to be defined by who they are, but instead by how they relate to men. In Yu-Gi-Oh! This means that every female card, and especially archetypes focused on the stories of women, becomes suspect as pandering to the male player base. Maybe enough to make a list of them. Like a female card list. Maybe the Wikia could make like a female card list, so they could tell which cards are fuckable by straight men. I mean, which ones Zombiestein can't attack in the manga. But are the dragons not also pandering? The dinosaurs? The cool robots? The big, sweaty men? If everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pandering to get people to buy shiny cardboard, including the fact that they are shiny, and everything is, why are we singling women out for how men see them? This has real material impact too. The women who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Are impacted by this culture. I spoke with some other women about this topic to help make this video, and one thing that came up several times was how this suspicion of fictional women extends to the real women in the community. Women can feel isolated at their locals. They build a deck featuring a woman they identify with, come into play with what is now a piece of their identity, and are told that it doesn't truly belong in the game. That it's somehow foreign to the game, only placed there to please lesser men, because they're women, like you. You don't belong here. As you might imagine, this hits doubly for trans women, like myself. Not only are you suspect for being a woman, but your enjoyment of these women cards that you identify with is conflated with the misogynistic sexual tastes of shitty dudes. In Yu-Gi-Oh! The cards that we play are the medium of our expression. When your expression is dismissed out of hand as gooner brain misogyny, that fucking hurts, dog. But that's not all the hurt that this kind of culture causes. Women aren't just made to feel suspect in Yu-Gi-Oh! They are considered suspect. Think about how many women there are in the game, particularly at a locals or online level. Now think about how many are in the competitive scene, at top tables, or on your screen as creators. And then, how many of those female creators hide behind a VTuber to avoid showing their actual face? Hi, that's me. It's not just the dysphoria, I'm scared of you fuckers. And there's a reason for that. Women have been systematically ripped out of prominent positions in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community by men suspicious of their bodies, their sexuality, and their personhood. Amanda Lepalm, Vayu enthusiast, Mariamne Jackie, all torn from their spotlight by men for the crime of being women. Jackie in particular, a top player and online personality, was viciously attacked for her cosplays and videos because they decided she was using her womanly wiles to ride off the coattails of an ARG guy she was dating at the time. What? That's straight from RJ, by the way. They were there to watch it happen. This treatment of women stems from the same place as the treatment of female cards. While male cards are seen as the default, women have to justify their existence, and the one justification men go to every time is sex. She's popular because she's hot. She's popular because she's dating the ARG guy. She's not a real Yugist like us. She's a fake gamer girl. She's just in the set because guy thinks she's hot. She's a waifu card. It's the same thought process. A thought-terminating cliche. Diabell Star is no longer a story of tainted innocence and how women are forced to fight but must develop solidarity to survive in a patriarchal society. No, it's just a waifu deck. It's just here to sell sexy cards to men. It's a term for the terminally incurious. I want to be absolutely clear. The problem with the male gaze secretly has nothing to do with women being sexy or scantily clad. It's everything to do with the objectification of women. It's about power, not horniness. Women can be underdressed, women can be conventionally attractive, women can be sexual beings wholly independent of men. None of that should be a problem. And yet some men love to objectify women so much with their waifu culture nonsense. And they also tend to be the same people who want to destroy the ability for women to be sexual beings on their own without their input. It's all dehumanization of women. Remember the pin I told you about earlier? These people don't actually like women on the whole. They just like controlling and owning women. So please, don't do their work for them. Stop calling female cards waifus or gooner slap, even if you're doing it to criticize them. It's not 2016 anymore. We can evolve beyond that kind of prudish pseudo-feminist critique to a truly sex-positive feminism. Because that's the only way women will be truly liberated. We gotta be free to do whatever we want with our own bodies as full fellow human beings. Even if that means being attractive to men, by accident or on purpose. And that extends even to the cards we use to represent ourselves in this silly little game. Think about it, won't you? Hey there, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a lot more for you if you want them. Just hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications. I'd also appreciate if you left me a like and a comment and maybe shared the video around with your friends. You can also follow me on all the usual social media sites. Just check out my website in the description below for more info. My videos are funded by my patrons, Ko-fi subscribers, and YouTube members, whose names you'll see scrolling by in these credits here. For just $1 a month, you too could find yourself here, trapped in my end screen for all eternity, among other benefits. In particular, I'd like to thank Jeremy Coatney, Frog Prince Michael, Fleakill, Haru Hayes, the Almighty Ferret Lord, Fire Mizumi, Beastman, Bryn, and Beelzis. A big thanks to all my patrons and to my little community as a whole. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful whatever time it is for you. Bye-bye.